Former White House Chief of Staff and author of The Chief's Chief, Mark Meadows, joins me. Nice to see you, Mark. Could the Republicans politically overplay this Hunter Biden?
Well, yes. I mean, they can always overplay everything, and I think that's why they have to be judicious. But the American people, Greta, much like you, when you say you have all these hearings, doing all the investigative work, the oversight hearings, you know, a lot of the American people are saying, so what? Show me where is the accountability. And I think it's reached a fever pitch already, Greta. You've heard Speaker McCarthy talk about the levels rising in terms of potentially rising to an impeachment level. But more problematic than that is the fact that this issue, this Hunter Biden, whether he was peddling influence, you know, with his father as vice president, those allegations, those are not new allegations. They came up, if you recall, back in 2019 during the impeachment of Donald Trump. And so the American people are ready for some action, and I think that you'll start to see that. Members, not just the Conservative Freedom Caucus, but other members are starting to call for it.
You know, the thing that catches my attention, I don't know what happened. I know that Hunter Biden, in my opinion, is a ne'er-do-well son. I mean, it's a history. I mean, he's got problems. He's tried his father. What makes me, as a citizen, to say, why is the FBI and why is President Biden seemingly, why are they making it so difficult to get the facts out? Because when you make the difficult, I mean, he could be 100% innocent of this. This could be a terrible false accusation. But when the FBI is turning over documents that it blacks out and says it's an ongoing investigation, the investigation's been going on for 5 years or something, you know, when they make it so hard, it's easy to wonder, like, well, what are they hiding?
Well, transparency is a good disinfectant. You've said that before. I've said that before. But here's where the American people, they do start to get concerned, is they see that narrative from the White House press conference where the spokesperson is changing the narrative. And you pointed it out. They're not in business together. Well, that's very different than what candidate Joe Biden said on the campaign trail, that he had never talked to his son about that. Listen, we know that as a father and a son relationship, the fact that they were talking on a regular basis is to be expected. But also with this, it's very easy for the FBI or anybody else to say, all right, phone calls were made, this is where the conversation was had, and based on our abilities, from an intel standpoint, I can tell you a lot more is known than is not.
Well, you talk about those phone calls. That's reflected in that FD 1023
right.
form, not classified.
That's correct.
And yet the White House or the committee had to fight to get it. It's not classified, even though they had oversight obligations on the FBI. And I think that's where we say, you know, if it's not classified, and if the House has oversight, and the investigation had to be over at that point, why didn't they just turn it over?
Well, listen, we've had the legislative Heisman throughout the history of Congress. I know when I was a member of Congress, there were many times where it just didn't get turned over. But here's the problem, is the double standard. They feel like that one standard for the sitting president of the United States, a different one for Donald Trump. And that's very problematic for the American people. They need to turn it over. But
it may show nothing. That's the irony.
Exactly. And in fact, it could clear it all up, and it could be a big nothing. But because you were right to point out that it was allegations. But if they go the impeachment route, that gives Congress the ability to actually look at this with unbelievable, unchallenged parameters in terms of their investigation, and it would be very hard for the DOJ and FBI to push back.
Former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, thank you. Nice to see you.